All right, it's my pleasure right now to be joined by the SEC's all-time leading passer. Did you know that? Did you know that Aaron Murray, indeed, SEC's all-time leading passer, insane stats. I knew you were good, but then I looked it up and I was like, wow, 13,000 yards in your career.
Well, listen, when you play for 4 years, you better have some really good stats. So I was very fortunate enough to be a 4 year starter and had some really good receivers around me, which helped. Obviously, you throw a hitch to AJ Green, he makes a couple guys miss, and I get credit with all those stats. So I do appreciate the guys around me, and Bobo was a heck of a coordinator when I was there as well. So it did help. There is one quarterback though in the West I got my eyes on, Will Rogers there at Mississippi State. If he stays for another year, may take all my records. So I'm hoping he goes to the NFL for this year.
You're being modest. You remind me of Kevin Falk, who played back in the 90s. He's LSU's all-time leading rusher, and he's, oh, well, I played 4 years, No one plays 4 years anymore. So my record's going to stand. So
No,
good
it
stuff.
helps. Yeah, I mean, listen, a lot of these guys they want to get in, they want to get out. But now with obviously NIL, you don't have to leave to go make money. If you are a mid-round guy, say a third or fourth round pick that is a quarterback or running back, why not stay for another year? Why not be able to make some money? Uh, and then hopefully move into that first or second round. Obviously, a lot more guaranteed money, obviously, and also more of a guarantee to make the roster as well. So I think you will see more guys sticking around a little bit longer than what we've seen in years past.
Aaron, it indeed is a new era of the NIL athlete. I was just at LSU women's basketball practice yesterday. There's a young lady by the name of Flajay Johnson. She's a rapper. She can get paid now to make appearances and go rap and play basketball. This was unheard of back then. You couldn't even put a guy's picture on a poster and say, "Hey, come to this party." You've been heavily involved in NIL moving forward. Tell me about it, and do you think it's been positive so far?
Yeah, I think it's been great. We're super excited. We started our first project back at Georgia, and this was right when we actually launched the day before the national championship. So it kind of was an exciting time for us, and we wanted to find a way to get our players paid. It was myself, Keith Marshall, Ty and Trent Fricks, Tavares King, Todd Gurley helped out, Champ helped out, and obviously the goal is, hey, keep these kids on an Athens campus. Let's get them paid for obviously what they're doing on the field. So had a very successful drop. We raised right around $900,000. So those kids got paid a ton of money. And then from there, it's kind of like, okay, why can't we duplicate this at other universities? So I actually was talking with Hester. I do a bunch of work with Hester on the radio, and we're like, man, LSU would be great. These fans, love their football players. Obviously, NIL is just as important here as it is anywhere else in the country. So we kind of teamed up together and we helped kind of the digital side of things of creating essentially these NFT player cards. And nowadays everything's on your phone, old school trading cards. So for our fathers and grandfathers and so on and so forth, you collected cards and you put them in your closet, you never see them again, and you may pull them out every now and then, like, oh, I got so and so's rookie card, and it's great. But it's, we're getting to more and more of the digital era. So what we've created, in our opinion, is some of the best player cards out there. We've signed up the entire football team, or essentially the entire scholarship football team there at LSU, and we'll be releasing cards throughout the year based on just, we'll be changing stats on the cards. There'll be moments throughout, certain home games that we'll be releasing throughout the season. But it's a way to really get some fun collectibles and also benefit the players. Majority of the proceeds go directly back to those student athletes. The student athletes will equally split the sales of the initial sale. So as a fan, you buy them, you get three per pack. You may get the whoever you get. And then the really cool thing about this digital space is, because of the blockchain technology, anytime one of these cards sells in the secondary market, the student athlete will also get a royalty on that card. So they're always generating money. So we're really excited about this project long term for those players.
And for more information, it's theplayerslounge.io is the name of the website, right?
That's it right there. Yep. Go to theplayerslounge.io, click on the link for teams, and then go to obviously the Bayou Cat Crew, LSU, and you'll be able to then from there be directed to have access to go buy these packs. There'll be $29 per pack. You'll get $3 per pack, or 3 cards, excuse me, per pack. And we're able to buy and sell and trade them all on our website.
Good deal. And it just Google or search the Players Lounge, the website pops up immediately. That's what I did today, Aaron. So found you immediately.
There you go.
And you did an event at the original Walk-Ons by LSU back in June. I want to thank you as a local sportscaster. When there's nothing going on in June and July, you filled my sportscast for about a month because of all the players I was able to interview that day. I talked about 10 LSU guys that day, a lot of transfers and whatnot. And so that was a good, that to me, and that's the first thing I saw in person that you had done.
Yeah, we want to continue to do more and more events. We want to, what we talk about is utility. Like we want to, if you own whether the player cards or we have some mascot cards as well. You think of them as essentially your digital pass that gives you access to certain events we put on. We're also looking to get some sponsorships through other, not just walk-ons, but other restaurants and stores there in the Baton Rouge area where, hey, if I own this collectible, I get a discount here, or I get access to this, or I get to go to this event or tailgate. So we're really trying to create something here that is essentially a year-long pass that at the end of the day gives you utility, gives you access, but also the main driver is still, hey, how can we put money into these players' pockets and ensure that they're staying on campus? So we're, it's just the very beginning. We're really, essentially early on in this stage. This will be LSU will be the first full team player card drop out there. So it's a pretty big time, honestly. This is, NIL, as we all know, is still fairly new. It's only been around for a little over a year now. This digital space is still fairly new. So for LSU to be the first trademarked player card drop for an entire football team, I think is a pretty awesome thing. And once again, we're really excited about it.
Outstanding. All right, I got a couple of old school, not really that old, but a couple of football things for Aaron Murray. Perhaps a good memory, perhaps a bad memory. But I want to give you some credit. Okay, so the 2011 SEC championship game, you guys played LSU, and you had a 10-0 lead in the first quarter. And I was there. It could have been 17-0. It could have been 21-0. Not to throw anybody under the bus, but there was some balls in some hands that weren't caught at the goal line and whatnot. I think you guys kind of showed, even in a 42-10 game, there were the cracks as we reflect back on it, that this LSU team that looked like it could have been the greatest of all time, at least at LSU, before the Alabama National Championship game, there were some weaknesses there that you exposed that day.
Yeah, well, listen, they were a great defense, and we had our opportunities. And when you play a great team like that, especially that side of the football, when you got Honey Badger making plays left and right, and so on and so forth, when you have opportunities, you got to take advantage of it. So we didn't. They did. Obviously, we felt pretty good after that first half. Probably could have put a couple more points on the board. I remember one play we had a stutter and go to Tavares, perfect coverage, cover 4. He splits the safety in corner, catches it. I think it's going to be a touchdown. Honey Badger catches him from across the field, hawks him down. They ended up forcing us to a field goal. That's a play there that probably should have been 7. So those little hidden plays and points really start to add up. And obviously not getting the momentum heading to halftime. Honey Badger once again has a punt return. May have let that ball go a little bit too early, but doesn't get called. Touchdown. And you guys kind of have that momentum going to halftime, and it just came out in the second half. And we had some turnovers, and really just like once again, we did not take advantage of the momentum we created early on in the game. It came back to bite us in the butt. But man, it was a hell of a team. Both those teams in the championship, those defenses were elite. Kind of played out like that early in the season, and obviously was somewhat similar there in the national championship as well.
Yeah, the LSU offense 7 3-and-outs in the first half, I think, and Honey Badger Tyron joked about it. If you watch the replay, he tosses it and then he kind of looks at the ref like, is this going to be a touchback? And it was right there. It really was. But yeah, he was so great. I mean, that just shows. I mean, LSU offense didn't score in the first half, but somehow this guy Tyron runs back a punt and then puts LSU in the game. So
yeah, no, he's a stud, and we knew it. I mean, he just was everywhere, and I'm sure obviously LSU fans are excited that he's back there in New Orleans doing his thing. But He was one of the best defensive players I've ever been against.
So September 28th, 2013, and this is the problem with SEC scheduling. If you've done polls over the years, maybe not necessarily the stadium, but what SEC town do you want to go to? Athens seems like it's always number one. Athens always, old guy like me, REM, and Shiny Happy People. What's the other band? B-52s, right? from Athens, and everyone says it's the essence of college football. And LSU hadn't been there in a decade. That game, you and Zach Mettenberger that day. What do you remember about that?
Oh man, it was probably the most memorable game that I had at Georgia, besides our loss to Alabama in the SEC championship game the year before. I mean, it was top game. Game day was there. Two elite offenses. You want to talk about just star power on the field? We had guys like Todd Gurley and Malcolm Mitchell and Keith Marshall. You guys had obviously the incredible receivers there with Odell and Jarvis. So it was a star-studded affair, and it didn't disappoint. We knew it was going to be a high-scoring game, and we knew it was going to be like, okay, whoever had the ball last most likely was going to win. And luckily for us, we had it in time to get that 2-minute drive. You guys got it back, and our defense was able to get a fourth quarter stop. But what I really remember from the game is getting in the locker room, celebrating. It was once again one of the best games I've ever been a part of. But then Bobo coming down the locker room and saying, hey, the fans are still here. And it'd been like 20, 25 minutes since the game ended. And we went back out there and everyone was still in their seats, celebrating, having a good time. And, we ran around the field for probably about 15, 20 minutes, just having a great time. Like no one wanted to leave Sanford on that Saturday afternoon. So just, a special game, a game I'll never forget, and a hell of a battle between a lot of really, really good offensive players.
Final score that day, number 9 Georgia 44, number 6 LSU 41. Aaron Murray 298, 4 touchdowns. Some guy named Todd Gurley 73 yards rushing in the game. Zach Mettenberger 372 and 3 touchdowns. And yeah, Jarvis Landry 10 catches, 156 yards. Odell Beckham 6 catches, 118. Jeremy Hill now on the radio here in Baton Rouge, 86 yards rushing. So like you said, just a plethora of offensive guys. And, Zach had been at Georgia, right? And this was his day to kind of prove himself, and he did, but you guys had the ball, like you said, late in the game. You threw the touchdown pass, and Georgia wins.
No, and it was good. It was cool to see Zach. Zach and I were roommates when we first got to Georgia, mid-year guys, Elite 11 guys, and you had a very healthy quarterback competition. So, I was excited to see him go to a place like LSU and to be surrounded by that kind of talent around him. If you want a big quarterback that can throw the ball, a country mile, Zach was your guy. And then you throw in, like we said, the talent around him as well. That offense was fun to watch all year.
What about Mark Richt, your head coach? Always admired him. He always seemed to be, obviously, he was a man of very strong faith. I mean, I was flipping channels one time and landed on a religious channel, and they had a documentary on Mark Richt about how he took the job, and this job's too big for me. I need your help, man upstairs, get me through this. And obviously he had a very, very successful career. Coaches of his magnitude are going to get criticized no matter what. But how do you reflect back on him?
Oh, he's awesome. He's the man that recruited me, the same guy in the locker room, wins, losses, no matter what. And I think that's what you love as a player, knowing that your coach is that same personality, no matter the ups, the downs, all that good stuff. And, someone that I'm so close with, and obviously, been hard to kind of see him and some of his struggles with his health. So, but yeah, he's one of the best coaches I've ever been around, and obviously one of the best people I've ever been around as well.
Awesome. That walk-ons patio that you were on, I think we were all there rooting for Georgia in the 2012 SEC championship game. I don't know if you've heard, Aaron, but LSU fans don't root for Alabama. I mean, they could be going up against the Russians in the 80s, and I think they'd root for the Russians. But anyway, that has to be one of the more talked about games of your career, right? I mean, the ups and downs,
Yeah.
you're right there. You're right there, and it's just a little bit short.
Yeah, and obviously going in the fourth quarter, we were up, I think 10 at that point. We were feeling pretty good. Just blocked the field goal, returning for a touchdown. We're like, man, we're going to Miami. We're gonna go play Notre Dame. And as a lot of people understand and know, you can't take the pressure off Alabama. You just got to keep the foot down, and we let go a little bit. They end up mounting the comeback, scoring a couple touchdowns, taking it's going up by 4 points, and we had the ball, and we're driving and driving. Hit a big play to Arthur Lynch for his 2-man down the seam. He catches it, get down to the 8-yard line, whatever it is, and things just happen a little bit fast. Ball gets tipped. Conley, not his fault, catches it by mistake. And, we had no timeouts left. And you just, it felt like the longest 5 seconds of my life looking at that play clock or game clock. And, just like, man, how can I stop this? And knowing that there was nothing we could do at that time. And, it stunk. The 2 best teams in the country played that day. And, we just ran out of time, man. If we had another 1 or 2 plays, who knows what could have happened.
That was the same year LSU heartbreaker to Bama in Tiger Stadium. The swing pass to Yeldon, the corner for LSU should have stayed at home. He blitzed and Yeldon goes in the end zone. And Brian Kelly was the head coach of the Notre Dame team that Alabama, just smashed in the national championship and just proved the greatness of the SEC, right? I mean, you take a look at LSU playing Georgia, Alabama, you playing Alabama, how close the games were, and then okay, this is supposed to be the second best team in the country. Not really, right?
We were built like Alabama, very similar on both sides of the football. So yeah, that was kind of even more painful knowing that, hey man, we were identical teams, and most likely the outcome probably would have been the same had we faced Notre Dame in that national championship game.
Yeah. A few more things with the great Aaron Murray. Appreciate your time. Skip Bertman, the legendary LSU baseball coach, I was visiting with him. He was the AD at LSU when Nick Saban was the head coach. And he laughed with me about how for years people said, we're going to hire a Nick Saban assistant, and we're going to steal all the information, and we're going to learn, and we're going to stick it to him. And really was a 22-0 assistants. Saban beat him 22-0. And finally, obviously Jimbo Fisher won a national championship at Florida State, but Kirby Smart obviously has things up and running there. I mean, there's a new Alabama in the SEC, and their name is Georgia. That's my joke right now. I mean, this is scary, huh?
Oh yeah, no, I think what he's built is it's sustainable. And if there's anyone that can make a run, and I don't think anyone will make a run similar to what Saban's done at Alabama, but if someone's going to be close to it, I think Kirby right now is the closest thing. It's not, it's not Dabo, it's not Ryan Day. It's he has everything he wants. You alluded to it earlier. Athens is an incredible campus, incredible downtown. It's a very good academic university. I think number 3 in the SEC behind Florida and obviously Vanderbilt. The facilities are top notch. The coaches are top notch. They now can say that they've won a national championship in the past decade. On top of that, the proximity to Atlanta, the NIL opportunities, red and black's pretty awesome colors. I mean, there's just really there's nothing wrong. And obviously Kirby's a tremendous recruiter. He learned that from Nick Saban, is relentless in that area. So yeah, I look forward to many more opportunities to be in that conversation, many more opportunities to be in the playoffs. And, I think another possibly 1 to 2 national championships here in the next 10 years.
Last thing I want to ask you about, Aaron, LSU going to Auburn this weekend. Could be rainy, could be messy with the hurricane coming in. But, it's unfortunate. Coach is on the hot seat. That's what moves the needle. Here's a 4.0 student that donates all this time. Yawn, no one cares. But hey, we'll talk about a coach getting fired. Everyone's interested. So Brian Harsin, it seems like this guy since day one has been on the hot seat, and now it's really getting hot.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. He's been there for a little over a year. He's, people are already wanting him out. I mean, people wanted him out back in January, February, for goodness sake. So it stings. I've had the opportunity to cover Auburn a few times past couple seasons, and gotten to know Coach Harsin, and really like what he's trying to build there at Auburn. It's a tough situation, when you have to get compared to Nick Saban all the time, and what Alabama's been and how many national championships they've won. I'm so firm believer they should never have gotten rid of Gus in the first place. I thought he should have stayed, and I wasn't against Harsin being hired. I thought it was a good hire. It's just, you got to give a guy more time. And obviously the fact that they're going to be looking for a new athletic director, sure, that athletic director is going to want to bring in his own head coach, kind of just makes you feel like this is kind of his last dance this year as the head coach of Auburn.
Brian Kelly, certainly a lot of people, Peter Burns, who's a big LSU fan, works for the SEC network and everything. He says a lot of people don't like Brian Kelly, and as an LSU fan, I don't care. And I kind of find that maybe LSU fans didn't like Brian Kelly when he's at Notre Dame. Now he's our guy, so to speak. But what do you make about the perception of him? It just seems like there's a lot of people that are bitter. He left Notre Dame. Like, you don't do that to us.
No, I'm fine with it. I had Brian Kelly as one of my top coaches in America back when he was at Notre Dame. What he accomplished there is incredible, with obviously the limitations you have, especially when it comes to recruiting and being able to be competitive against the bigger boys. So, my thought was like, man, you take a guy like that, you put him in a place like LSU where you can recruit, you have all the resources you need. It's a hell of a match. So I'm super bullish on LSU. I had the feeling that this year they're going to upset some teams that maybe people didn't expect them to win those games. A la Mississippi State a couple weeks ago. They're a good team. They're talent all over the place, and now they have one of the best coaches in America. I think LSU is going to be a team that similar to Georgia. You look at them going forward, and you got to feel really really good about that.
All right, Aaron Murray, thanks so much for your time. The Georgia Great, once again, the playerslounge.io to get involved and get your players cards for the LSU football Tigers. And all the years, like, you were number 11 at Georgia, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
All those jerseys that got sold in Athens, right? You saw that much of that, right?
Oh, I know. It's good to get these kids paid, man. It's good for them. Wish I can go back and do it, but I can't. So it's been fun watching these guys get to enjoy everything that they deserve.
Aaron, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.